Hello, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, can you just give a thumbs up in the chat section? If you can hear me, hello.
Hello. Hello. To go on mute.
Yeah, good. I can see that. Hello, hi. Yeah, you're welcome. We have 16. Good. Thank you for the thumbs up. You're welcome. We still have people coming in. Okay. Okay, we can get started. We have 18 persons in the room this moment. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you to the first of BBPN and Strive Opportunity webinar series. I'm Ovunda and I will be moderating for tonight. This webinar is a result of an ongoing collaboration between Black Business and Professional Network and Strive Opp. Tonight's session promises to be bold, enlightening. We are hopeful it's also going to be very engaging for each and every one of us. As we delve into two topics that we're looking at creating today. The first of these topics is strategies for securing scholarship funding, and the second one is financing post-secondary education. I know that everyone that is on this platform this evening came here for one reason or the other, whether it's for you to learn something new, for you to gain more insight, or probably to connect with people of like minds. You are at the right place, and we just hope that at the end of this webinar series tonight, you would have gained some useful insight to achieve your goals. Now, to take us further, I would like to welcome Olaiton to take us through with land acknowledgement. Olaiton.
So yeah, thank you everyone. You're welcome here today. Can you hear me good? Hello. Please give a thumbs up if you can. Ovunda, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. BBPN acknowledges that we carry out our work on the unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Wabanaki, the Wolastoqiyik, the Mi'kmaqi, Abenaki, and Passamaquoddy. This territory is covered by the treaties of peace and friendship, which Wolastoqiyik, Maliseets, Passamaquoddy, and Mi'kmaq people signed with the British Crown in the 1700s. The treaty did not surrender the territory and resources, but in fact recognized Mi'kmaq, Wolastoqiyik, and Passamaquoddy title and established the rules for what was to be an ongoing relationship between nations. We pay respect to the elders, past and present, and descendants of this land. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I yield back to you, Ovunda. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Ola. Before we continue, a little bit of housekeeping. For the best experience in this virtual event, please we want to encourage everyone to ensure you've logged in using the name you used during the registration. This is for us to identify you and probably make sure that our communication with you going forward is great. Now, we also encourage everyone to use your video to enhance the visual experience. It's good to always know who you are, chatting with. Now, keep your microphone muted during presentation. You also feel free to unmute during question and answer session at the end of both presentations. Your questions, you can save your questions for designated question and answer session. The event may be recorded for future references. We just need to take note of this. Thank you very much. Now, as we know, being a Black immigrant in Canada comes with its unique challenges. many of which are external in nature and will require external support to successfully navigate them. Some of these supports are not readily available. Some of them are just, as simple as having access to information. So that's where BBPN comes in. We're a nonprofit organization leveraging networking and partnership with organizations, with communities, with professionals to bring opportunities to Black entrepreneurs, Black professionals, and Black youths within New Brunswick. Now, why are we doing this? We try to do this to support their journey towards excellence. So tonight's webinar is organized in collaboration with Strive Opp, and this is a testament of the effort we've been making in this direction. So tonight, I'm delighted, I'm excited to introduce Dolapo Fadare, our speaker for today. A little bit, I know we must have seen the bio online on social media, but a little bit of what where we're going to be learning from tonight is that Dolapo has received about $25,000 of grants for professional development and $50,000 from academic and community development scholarship. So Dolapo here is the founder of Strive Opp, and the mission of Strive Opp is to financially empower people to access the education they need by connecting members on academic planning, scholarship workshops, upskilling opportunities, events, and initiatives to reach their own goals. One thing that we must understand, one key thing that I want us to go home with here today is that Dolapo went through school debt-free. She finished school without debt whatsoever. So we want to learn how she was able to do this, and this is what she'll be sharing with us tonight. Once again, I'm excited to have Dolapo Fadare with us tonight. Let's give a warm welcome to Dolapo as we begin our journey of learning and empowerment tonight. Dolapo, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uvunda, for having me here and for the introduction. Really love the work that BBPN does and everything it stands for. So super excited to connect with everyone here today. Just so you know, I love having these conversations be as interactive as possible. So make sure if you have any questions in the any questions at all, please put them in the comments. I'll try and make sure to address it just because I want this opportunity for conversation to be as valuable for you as possible. So I'm going to just quickly share my screen now. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay, perfect. So a little bit about me, as it was shared earlier. My name is Dolapo Fadare. So I went through
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What just happened? Sorry.
No, your screen.
We can see your screen. I think try to share it again, Dolapo. Thank you.
Share it again, please.
Okay, just give me. Oh, I see. Okay, just 2 seconds. Trying to find what screen it is on. There we go. All right, are you able to see it right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, there we go. Just a little bit of technical glitch. But yeah, as I was sharing, my name is Dolapo Fadare. I was able to get a number of grants and scholarships through high school and university through a number of different approaches, and I'm going to share a little bit more about that with you. The experience of doing that, because I was able to also just focus on more extracurricular activities. I was able to get, a job right out of university, which I know is top of mind, not just for students, but for any new immigrant. And I currently work in the tech sector with a company in the US. All right, so let's dive first of all into why scholarships are important. I think this is quite self-explanatory to some extent, in the sense that scholarships give us, number one, the ability to just be focused a little bit more, right? I know that a lot of students end up spending time working at the same time they're going to school, which then affects your grades, or you don't get the grades that you need or you want to see in order to either go more through academia, or if you're not going through academia, you're going through the workforce. And even to get into the workforce nowadays, it's so important for you to have some level of experience before you enter the workforce. And the way to really do that right now is through internships. And you don't really have the time for internships if you're so focused on trying to get scholarships or trying to pay for school, excuse me. So this is why it's really important, number one. And number two, it just adds more value to you because you're also learning additional skills that comes way beyond what you're studying academically. I found that learning how to apply for scholarships has positioned me to be able to know how to, pitch and talk about myself. It's allowed me the opportunity to just really understand how to communicate my impact and different things that are important to me. So without further ado, let's get into how to secure scholarships. Now, the first thing I want all of y'all to do is really think about your own identity, who you are as a superpower. Now, I say this because a lot of scholarships are not just based on academic excellence. Scholarships are based on either, of course, academic, your involvement within your community, number two, or number three, they're based on your background, like who you are and different attributes of who you are. So let's say if you're someone who is an athlete, someone who is involved in the community, or someone who has other attributes of that sort, including one of them being an immigrant. So your identity is really a superpower. And I want you to, start thinking, what are some of those intersectionalities of who you are and how can you tap into that as the source of strength rather than seeing it as something, to maybe not mention or mention. I find that people nowadays are like, oh, okay, like, should I, do I need to mention that I'm Black in a scholarship application? Do I need to mention XYZ? Yes, they're all relevant, not only for your essay portion, but they also are what you're going to use to find scholarships. Okay. So I'll encourage y'all to just have this written down as like something to reflect on afterwards is, what different communities do you belong to? And this is what I did when I was in high school and continuously in university that gave me notes of how to find scholarships. So this was my own little exercise. You see here on the screen I'm sharing where I talk a little bit about, I was someone who was interested in social justice, but also sustainable development. I'm a Black woman from the middle class. I was track and field athlete, and all of these things were actually what helped guide my search. So again, think about what communities you belong to, whether it's, volunteering, what school clubs you belong to, your interests, and your career goals. These are all important nodes to use to guide your search. And once you have that, you would actually be able to use those to find scholarships. So for example, like I mentioned earlier here, you can see I have track and field. If you Google scholarships for track and field athletes, you will find them. If you Googled scholarships for Black women in sustainable development, then it will give you a bunch of responses. These are really important to have keywords that you're feeding into Google, because that's how you're going to be able to find these scholarships on different like corners of the internet where they live. All right. And so once you let that guide your search, the next thing that's important to keep in mind is that these scholarships are usually categorized in like typically these 4 different ways, right? So if you're applying directly to a university or institution, they will usually have entrance scholarships or bursaries. And I would say this is like the highest likelihood you would have to get in it. What I mean by that is that I know there are times where people apply to a school and they don't even apply for a scholarship at all, but you have the highest pool of money you can apply to when you are first applying to the school at the entrance scholarship. Now, these sometimes are based on either your grades or some of the schools will have additional entrance scholarships you can get. So I got an entrance scholarship just based on my grades for, I think, about $3,000. I got one through the government as well. And then I applied for additional scholarships that weren't just tied to the school. And this is where the next group of scholarships comes into play. So there's scholarships by community groups based on your identity. And this is why it was important, like I mentioned earlier, to kind of do an audit of, what are the different things that you belong to. And so, for example, there's a scholarship called the Black Academic Scholarship Fund for undergrad students. There's the Schulich Award, which is for students in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There's the Laurent Scholar. Oh, I see that the presentation has not changed. Oh, I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Can you see it?
No,
Resume
maybe
share.
you try resharing it again. We are just on your bio, like the first page.
Oh, I am so sorry. Okay, I don't know why. Resume share. I'm clicking resume share, but it's not resuming. Wait, let's see. How about now?
Yeah,
It's
it's
types of
moved.
scholarships now.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I'm just gonna maybe quickly go back. So when I was talking earlier about like different notes to use, this is what I was referring to. Sorry about that, everyone. The next thing I had mentioned earlier is just using these different things to help guide your Google search. And then the next here is the different types of scholarships. So the other ones that are important to know is scholarships based by different professional groups or employee organizations. So for example, if your parents belong to a union group, the union tends sometimes to have scholarships for the members of their union for their kids to apply to. Example, Canadian Psychological Association. I know that it depends. So if your parent is in like a professional field, whether it's like doctor, lawyer, architect, all of those different things, try and find associations of those, and they tend to have scholarships. And then the last one is, of course, scholarships by financial corporations and governmental agencies. So example of this is Bank of Canada. They have a scholarship for both undergrad and master's students every single year. So there's RBC, CIBC, BMO, all of these financial institutions tend to provide scholarship dollars as well to students. So these are the main four ways to find scholarships and types of scholarships. If there are any questions regarding these, please, again, make sure you put it in the comment section. Another thing to keep in mind here as you go about your scholarship search is, number one, most schools will have continuing scholarships every spring and every winter semester. So I always encourage people to note them in their calendar, just because the biggest obstacle sometimes to scholarship applications is not knowing that it will be due beforehand. So you wouldn't have enough time to, prepare your essays or your resume or all of those extra things. So it's really important to just, have a document or a planner. We actually have a scholarship planner that I will share at the end of the session, where you can have everything documented so that it's easy for you to be able to track your scholarship. So I did this every spring and winter semester. I would apply for scholarships at my school as well. It's really important here to keep in mind that scholarships is also a game of numbers. What I mean by that is the more you apply to, the more you're likely to get. And do not give up on the first time, on the first note. There are going to be lots of no's. I got more no's than I got yes. And I think that's just a fact of life when you are making applications. So don't let your first no stop you from all of your other potential yeses you're going to get in the future. Another thing to keep in mind is like donors are interested in your growth and potential. So it's really important to then use your time and energy to do that as well, because they want to know how you spend your time. A lot of essays will ask questions about, okay, share how you've contributed to your community. And this is where it's important that whatever you are interested as an individual, and for parents that are listening, whatever your child is interested in, it's important to, of course, support them and make sure that they're spending time and energy towards it. So let me give it a concrete example about what this looks like. For me, my passion and what I was interested in was sustainable development. And so what did I do about that? I would attend events, conferences, that had to do with any of the topic areas I was interested in, because those were now things I could, contribute and write in my essay about. I made sure to volunteer and give back to my community, not just because of the scholarship, but again, that's how I chose to invest my time and energy. And when it comes to application time, committees want to see that and read that, all right? The next thing here is, again, scholarships are not just solely academic based. So don't want you to just focus all your energy on your grades. Yes, it's good to have, let's say, at least an A, B minus grade, but invest time in things that interest you. If you're someone interested in technology, can you join a school club that, deals with technology? If it doesn't exist, can you start one with a few colleagues? Things like that are really, really important for you to be able to move yourself forward in a scholarship application. And so one of the ways to get started with finding scholarships is we have a database of scholarships that we have compiled with Strive Opp. And so if you scan this QR code, you'll be able to see all of them in a Notion list. Yeah, it's on Notion. So I'll give people a few minutes here to scan. It's not just for high school and undergraduate. There's one also. There are filters for international students. There are filters for postgraduate studies as well. And just to put it in the comments, please, are the people attending, are you, undergrad, postgrad, just so I can better tailor these for you? Or are you more a parent that is looking and keeping an eye out for your children? So do let me know in the comments section. I'd love to know a little bit more about the people attending. Grade 11, that's amazing. Grade 11, that's the best time to look. Grade lots. Oh, makes me so excited. Yes, because you have the best chance when you're in high school, mainly because, again, there's so many opportunities for you when you're in high school. And again, make sure you go to the database. It has a comprehensive list for high school students that you can apply to. And I'll share a little bit more here as well. Wow, so many grade 11 students. Well done, BBPN, because you really have the right audience here. How can we scan the database? So I'm going to go back again. Give me 2 seconds. So scan this QR code. I see somebody on here said postgraduate. Okay. Postgraduate is a little bit different in terms of the strategies, and I'll share a little bit more on that as well. For postgraduate, we're actually working also on a list of MBA scholarships for our database, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Okay, awesome. So all right, so I'm going to just go on to how you can prepare your materials for applying for your scholarships. So scholarships will tend to ask for a few additional documents. If the scholarship includes, is on a financial needs basis, they will require you to share some information regarding either your financial situation and your parents. It's completely normal. They're not trying to steal your information. I remember one of the first times I did that, I was like, what's going on? So it's pretty normal. They will also ask for a resume or a CV, and they will typically ask for a reference letter and reference letter and an essay, some type of personal statement. So we're going to start with the essay because this is the meat, this is the juice, this is the part where I'm the most excited for. Why? Because this is really where you can shine as an individual and what really sets you apart from everyone else. So when I was applying to scholarships, especially in grade 11, grade 12, one of the key things that, some of my mentors taught me was the fact that it is really important to share my own story, because keep in mind that a number of these scholarships, hundreds of people are applying, sometimes thousands of people are applying, right? And so one of the major scholarships I got, which was the Terry Fox Humanitarian Award here in Canada, one of the things that I did to set myself apart was to tell my story as what it was like for me to transition from living in Canada to, living in Nigeria to living in Canada. And you want to set a stage of, providing a background of who you are. What are the things that made you who you are today? So Gabriella, Jubilee, Kabina, like Ajibola, what are the things that, inspire you? If it's your parents, that's amazing. If it is an experience you've had when you were younger, that's amazing. If it is an insatiable need or curiosity for knowledge, that's amazing as well. So it's important for your background part to know and identify what are the things that spark your passion and spark who you are, and how has that led you to, what you've done today, okay? And that's where we're talking about the current state. The current state is basically talking about how your background has led to who you are today and what you were studying today. So if you're somebody who is passionate about, aerospace in general, you can talk about that and talk about then, okay, right now how I am fostering that passion is I read books on this. I'm part of an aerospace club at school. All of that, again, kind of guide your story. And then you use that to also paint a picture of your future goal, right? If I am doing all of these things in aerospace, my future goal is to, let's say, for example, work for NASA, or my future goal is to build my own aerospace company. Or let's even make it very simple. If my future goal is to work in medicine, or to whatever that future goal could be, you can then talk about how the scholarship program that you're applying to will help you get to that future goal. So it's a story that you're telling. You're not writing an academic essay, because an academic essay will not make you stand out in the crowd, because guess what? Everybody else is doing that. And the only thing that makes you very unique to you is your own story. So I know I really pressed in on that, but it's very, very, very important. Now, as you're writing your essay, one thing I advise people to do is on your other screen or in another piece of paper, have the requirements that the scholarship you're applying for has stated. So if they're looking for someone who's a community leader, or if someone that's interested in technology, or whatever that key thing is, just make sure it's listed there as you are writing. Why? Because then you can make sure that you're also answering the essay question. As you tell your story and paint that picture of your future and how that scholarship will help you get there, it's also important to still answer the questions that the scholarship has given you. Why? Because in most scholarship committees I've been in, there's still a rubric that you're being marked on, right? And the rubric is not like per se like a grade you're receiving in class, but to see, okay, does the applicant fit the type of applicant we're looking for? Do they, if we're looking for someone who is, I keep coming back to community because that's the one I can think about. But if they're looking for someone who is community driven, if your essay is really good, but you have nothing in there about, contributing to your community, and you're toe to toe with another applicant for like an interview, they will pick the other applicant that's talked about community instead. So again, make sure you have those requirements right in front of you as well. Third thing to keep in mind is people want to be a part of your success story. So again, make it very clear on how, receiving that scholarship will help you get to your goal, and make sure you like actually type it and state it there. It sounds very obvious, but it's really important. And lastly, don't be humble at all. I know, especially as immigrants, as Black immigrants, I think to some extent we're conditioned to grow up and, just put our heads down, work 3 times as hard, and hope and cross our fingers that things will work out. No, do not be humble. This is your time to shine and talk about your accomplishments on your personal essay and your statement. Talk about the impact you've had. So for example, if any one of the students here is part of student SRC, or you have gone and won a competition for your school, or you lead in different aspects of like, your high school, make sure you mention this and talk about, are we talking about, 30 people, 40 people, quantify it and state exactly the impact that you're having on other people's life. Now, once you've created your first draft with all of these things in mind, it's very, very important to have a second eye on it. Send it to someone you trust. It could be your parents. It can be your aunties and uncles. It can be your guidance counselor. Do not also underestimate or underutilize your guidance counselors. I used my guidance counselors at my high school quite a bit for reading my personal essays and getting feedback from them to, see what different ways I can improve it. And so those are the things I would suggest for your essay and statement portion. Make sure, again, start on time so you have a first draft, get someone to look through it, and try and let yourself shine through. Okay, next part is letters of recommendation. I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. To all the students that are in the room here, could you let me know what your future goals are? If you know already, no pressure if you don't, but are you looking to go into a traditional field or non-traditional? The world is your oyster, so don't limit yourself. Okay, so your letters of recommendation is also very important, because these are people that are, number one, of course, going to, yes, vouch for the validity of your candidacy, but they get to shine a light on a different aspect of you as well. So make sure you identify people that know you well. These can be coaches if you're part of any program. So if you're in an athlete or a student club, anything of that sort, coaches, leaders of groups you belong to, if it's a mentor from like either church or the mosque, whatever place of worship you go to, and your teachers as well. Your principals could also be a letter of recommendation as well. So the key thing is to always notify them ahead of time, okay? Or notify them ahead of time, because people are busy, and if, let's say, you're doing a scholarship application that's due in 2 days, 2 days is not really enough time to give someone to provide you with a really strong letter of recommendation. The other thing is to provide the person with a guideline on how they should write it, right? Because again, we're all holistic human beings who have different parts of ourselves. And I actually have a template on how to ask people for a recommendation. This is the framework, right? This is a TikTok video you can, take, scan, excuse me, and watch for later. But key thing is, of course, send a description of what you're applying for. Why do you want to apply for it and what makes you a strong candidate? Make the ask and ask why and tell them why you are a strong fit for that application, and then attach your resume and your transcript also. Okay. And then for the last document here, before we maybe take a pause for a little bit of the networking section, is keep it simple for your resume. Now, I know we have a number of different types of people here, grade 9, grade 10, 11, 12, and undergrad students as well. Can you let me know if you already have a resume? If you have a resume, put yes in the comments. If you don't, just put no. That's it. There's no pointing out. Okay, yes, that's amazing. That's good. Great. So I'm happy, and no problem at all as well. So if you do, it's great. If you don't, that's also great, because I'm going to share with you a good framework on how to create a resume and CV for your scholarship application. Number one, keep it very simple. You don't need to have a picture on there or make it pink, whatever, different colors. Keep it very simple. And I'm going to share a template pretty soon here. Make sure you're using fonts that are easy to read. And the most important part is you want to show the impact of your endeavors. And there's no such thing as an opportunity too small that you can't talk about. Like in my very first resumes, because my first job was delivering papers in the morning with my brother and my dad. Number one, and also working at McDonald's, taking order as a cashier. But guess what? I did put that in my resume. Biggest thing is how you communicate it. So even if you're a babysitter, if you're a pet sitter, those are all valid work experiences that you can put in there. There's a free resume template. There's a free resume template. I wanted to dive a little bit into some of it, but I don't know if time permits. So the biggest thing for your resume template is just to, first of all, I'll let maybe people to quickly scan this so that you can have access to it. And let me know if it's working properly. Let's see if I can quickly pull up the resume template in another screen for you. Awesome. I see that the team also provides reference letters. That is amazing. I'm getting a thumbs up. Let's see if I can quickly find the resume template here for you. Okay. The instructions are there, so I'll just let that be there for now. But once you follow these steps, you will receive the template and a guide in your inbox. There's also a video on TikTok where I explain how to do this. Okay, and then I'm just gonna put this here. Some scholarships that you should keep in mind as well. For just in general, this is for undergrad and for both undergrad and high school students as well. So feel free to take a screenshot, take a photo, and then we can probably go into a break. Ovunda.
Thank you so much, Dolapo, for this engaging presentation. I must say there are some things that I've also learned, even though I may not have the opportunity to start running after scholarship at this point in time. Okay, but I am so happy with this presentation, and I know it has enriched every one of us here. Just a few things that I would say that I've heard, and I'm like, wow. You talked about you may get a lot of no's, while applying for your scholarships. So it shouldn't discourage you. You should, just keep applying. even though they may be that much. And academic excellence is not the main criteria. You know, a lot of people think like you have to be an A grade student before you can get a scholarship. You know, getting to know that some of these opportunities are still there, even if you don't have an A, you know, you could still get them based on your community impact and all that. So that's a great one for us to go home with today as well. So we have for the next 5 minutes for networking. So, I mean, everyone is free. You can chat up with someone. It's a break, it's a networking break. So let's take this opportunity to have a chat, and we'll return back in probably say 4 minutes.
Yep, that sounds good. And I mean, again, please put in some questions. There's no such thing as a dumb question. I see questions right now about the code. So this is the code here for the resume template as well.
Yeah, someone also asked how they can scan the database.
Can we have the scholarship code, please? I'm just gonna, yeah, the database, give me 2 seconds, sorry. I just, 9WV1. Okay, I think that should be it. Your question, the database, yes.
Yeah, the database.
We'll have to
after
go
registering, yeah, on the website.
Oh, after registering, you need to log in. Okay, so I'm gonna show the steps because I think it might be a little bit confusing. Okay, so once I'm gonna share a different screen. For the database to access it, definitely just need to improve our UI here. When you're on striveopp.com, you're gonna go to your account. And then you're going to log in. So let's say, for example, I've logged in here. Then once you've logged in, you would be able to see something called resource menu, where then you go and click here to access the database. And so when you click that, this is what you should see for the database. Okay, so you see here that there's high school, undergrad, there are different types of scholarships here. Now, if the deadline has passed, that's okay. Just make sure you bookmark it. Why? Because a number of scholarships, they offer it yearly. So even if you do not apply now and get it now, you can still get that scholarship later on, like in the next year. And again, especially for students that are in grade 9, 10, 11, like this is prime for you. You can, you know, start looking now so that you already know what you're going to apply to next year. And again, don't apply to just one, apply to multiple. So that's how to access the database. Does that answer that question?
Certainly, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And the thing here too is like, I know this could be overwhelming because it's 700. We're still working on the UI here, but you can also filter your search, okay? So if you go to filter, oh, my bad, filter, and then you filter by, there's filter by field of study, and then there's also filter by level of education. So, oh, sorry, 1 second, I'll sort. No, I want to filter by level of education. Right now it's giving me not ascending. Field of study. This is weird. It shouldn't be ascending, but there's a way you can just filter to only see. Let's say, for example, just high school. I spelled school wrong. I'll add that as a filter. Huh, that's weird. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see if I can figure. There we go. You click level of education, and then you can go just high school. Oh, that's undergraduate. High school, let's say you want to see both. And then you would get only the ones that apply to high school and undergraduate. So you see some of them. There's an immersive program that McGill has for students in STEM. There's another program here. And some of them are not just restricted to when you start university. There's some that you can like programs you can apply now for the high school students in the chat here that you can apply to now, such as, Shad Valley, the Campton National Experience, Catalyst Summer Program at University of Waterloo, Odyssey. This is where they will basically pay you to go and learn French in a different part of Canada. And this is for high school students. There's one by Plan International, one by U of T, Loran. So these are Terry Fox. So this was the one I got, the one for 28,000. There's Future Launch, Rhodes. This is more undergraduate. So there are a number of different ones you could start applying to while in high school as well. Okay. And I'll actually go back to the resources corner part because I think that it's important here to share a little bit more. Is I mentioned earlier something about a scholarship planner. So once you've already registered, you also have this access to a Strive Opp scholarship planner. And what that is I have created a way to just make all of this very simple because I know that it's a very challenging process to find scholarships, to stay organized. Everything is in different websites. So we'll actually go over this in a bit and make sure everybody gets the break we mentioned. So I got excited and got carried away.
Okay, thank you so much, Dolapo. We're going to go into the second part of the presentation today, and we'll be looking at the topic financing your post-secondary education. For our guests, if you have any question, please feel free to put it in the chat box. And at the end of this presentation, the second part, you would have the opportunity to get answers to those questions. If you also want to speak after the presentation, you can as well unmute your mic after this second part and ask your question during the question and answer session. Thank you very much. Over to you, Dolapo, for the second part. Thank you.
Yeah, so in the second part, we'll just talk a little bit more about, give me 2 seconds. Okay, other scholarships to keep in mind for university students and really how to position yourself to continue to get scholarships even while in university. Of course, again, it's great for you to be able to get them in undergrad, in high school as you go in, but there's also still the chance for you to get them in university. And so I'm gonna share my screen again. Okay, so can you see my screen? Just give me a quick thumbs up.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
perfect. So for university students, there are a number of different scholarships and programs to also keep in mind to repeatedly find funding for school. Another way to go about this is using your summers as a way to secure internships, but internships in areas that interest you, which allow you to build your portfolio or your resume for post-grad, number one. But number two, you also get paid. Most internships in Canada, I believe, has to be paid like legally. So these are a few to keep in mind. And some of these actually will also pair you up with employers that are looking to hire students, either when they're for an internship or post-internship as well. So make sure to take a screenshot of this, and I'll put this up for a bit before I kind of transition into other parts for postgraduate. Okay. And so for a postgraduate, it's important to keep in mind here that, for example, Vanier Canada Graduate Scholarship is for, master's students. Other scholarships, and I don't have on the screen here, but I'll mention them, is SSHRC. So that's the Social Science and Humanities Research Council, has a funding for and grants for students. And SARC, which is specifically for students in, I'm just gonna put all of these in the comments. Just give me 2 seconds. And SARC also has one for people in sciences. So the other one was for social sciences. So again, this helps you keep in mind that if you're someone who knows you want to pursue academia, it's possible for you to do your undergrad, master's, PhD, not paying your own money. There are people that do it. So it is something that is possible to achieve. And then the last one here it's to keep in mind is also the Trudeau Foundation. Also has a scholarship. And if there are any students who are not in Canada right now, but let's say an African country, there's also the MasterCard Foundation has a scholarship, and the McCall-McBain Scholarship. Just give me 2 seconds while I put all of these links for you. But of course, the database also has a number of these scholarships, and you could filter through them. Trudeau Foundation. Oh no, McCall is the last one I wanted to share. And this one is a full ride for any master's program at McGill University. Okay, there we go. So now that has been done, the last thing here I'll share is just some things to keep in mind as you go into university is, or while still being in university, for people that are in university, it's really important to be multifaceted. Again, I stress this so much because I know I faced a little bit of friction with my parents at first, where they're like, my mom used to joke like, yeah, I just doing jump it. For her is basically moving from one event to the other, going up and down. But I noticed that's what it takes here to survive. You just can't be one thing. I don't know how to better explain it. It's very important to be multifaceted and well-rounded as an individual, number one. And as a candidate, we've seen that even the job market significantly shift, where it's like people don't just get jobs based on whether or not they have the highest grade. That's not how it works, right? What works is, who do you know? What experiences do you have that are relevant to what you are applying for in the case of the job? So while you're in university, use that as your playing ground. I'm not saying playing ground like party every single day. No. Playing ground as in use it as an opportunity for you to test and experiment what pathway you want to take your studies. So if you're someone studying in the arts, right, and you're trying to decide, okay, I'm interested in all these different parts of the arts, but I'm not really sure, use that as an opportunity to see, okay, what actually interests you. And the very simple ways you can do that is, again, going to events, joining different school clubs and extracurricular activities, and joining different student organizations. And so again, even though having an A average is important for some degrees, again, not all. I think if you're going into a professional field like medicine, what else? Law and things like that, they have their minimum cutoff. So of course, please do your research on that, but make sure that you have other things that you're doing in school that are important. So yeah, that part is just key here. Other things to keep in mind is I'd actually even like to know, are there any students right now that are already involved in any extracurricular activities? Just put it in the chat. I don't think I can see the chat because oh, yes, I can. Yes. Okay, great. Keep doing it. What type of extracurricular activities are you guys in? Choir, yes. Amazing. Got some future musicians on our hands. See another choir. Okay, lots of choir. Basketball, track, cadets. Okay, great. Debate, that's amazing. So yeah, keep on with your extracurricular activities. SRC, basketball, track, great. Public speaking, debate. I love this. I love that, a lot of you are actually very involved. So this is good. Be consistent with it. And as you go into universities, of course, make sure you also continue these extracurricular activities as well. And again, they're just very important so that you can build relevant skills, and you're already also building your network and things you can have in your resume. Lastly here, I would say that it's really important, if you can or you get the chance, whether it is while you're in high school or in university, to do study abroad programs. The labor market that we live in now is very, very global, right? And so study abroad programs position you well for the future, but also you get to travel the world, meet new people, but it's also an asset for you in your resume and for career development in general. So the different ways you can get this funded through school as well. So I ended up traveling to, I think, up to 15 places, all completely funded through the school. And the way I did that was, number one, most universities will have something called an engaged learning fund. And so try and look into that and tap into that as a way to get funding for your travel abroad experiences. Number two, your international study abroad office will also have scholarships specifically for that as well. There's another website I'm going to quickly share with you that has a number of scholarships for travel opportunities as well. Oh, sorry, I sent that to a direct person. How do I change this to everyone? Okay, there we go. There we go. This is another website you can use to find other scholarships. So the Canada-China Scholar Exchange Program, I actually got it, but then pandemic happened, and so I couldn't go. But that one is a fully funded scholarship program between Canada and China, where you go to China's, like, one of their top universities for, I think it's a semester, and everything was funded. Like my flight, accommodation, getting there, and a stipend for food. So it is possible to get these fully funded as well. And if it's not possible through this one, the other thing to do is speak to your professors. Don't be afraid of your professors while you're in university. Actually use them as a resource. A number of times, different things will come across their desk or within their network. So make sure you let them know what your goals and passions are, and ask them if they have any scholarships or conferences that for students that you can attend, because that would be another key way to find these scholarships. All right. So that wraps it up for the second part of this. I'll quickly go over the scholarship planner as well, because it has some budgeting tips in here for students. So you see that they're different for your yearly budget as you're, entering university. You can have in here, select. Oh, excuse me, just one second. My computer is slow now because I have too many tabs open. But basically, the income part is pretty explanatory. Your expenses. And this will kind of help you see what you need for scholarship funding in total, right? So it adds your income as an income and then subtracts your expenses. So there are a number of different drop downs. It's just slow right now. I think because this is not my copy. Oh, okay, sorry. In order to access this, what you actually need to do, this is the editable copy. When you click on the link, you need to go and press duplicate for it to be your own. So you can't really edit this one because it's a master copy, okay? So when from when you go to the website, the resources corner. So I'm gonna go back again. I'm on striveopp.com. I go to account. I go to resource corner view. Ooh. Give me 2 seconds. Scholarship corner, there we go. I create duplicate. And then it's when I've created the duplicate that I would be able to, let's see, just here. Just give me 2 seconds. Okay. Then now I have access to create and edit this as my own. Okay. So for example, sorry, there we go. For example, what I was trying to show here is, there we go, your income category, you have financial support, income, or scholarships. And then, of course, expenses, you would have your tuition, rent, and you can add other categories, right? If you have, let's say, for example, transportation, that's something you can add in there for yourself. But the important thing here is you can now use this to kind of just track all your scholarship applications you have. So in the board view, you would see all of the ones that, in progress, started, accepted, submitted. So you can add a new scholarship. So for example, if I wanted to add veneer, I can go ahead and add that. When I open it, it will allow me add the amount. I can't remember how much it is. So let's say it's 50K. You can have the application link, put the deadline. So, you can have a reminder for yourself and have whether you've started it, not started, in progress. And of course, what category it belongs to. The cool thing here is we also have a checklist for you. So in the case that, so you can just take this checklist, copy it, put it in this other part. Oh, excusez-moi. I think I would have to duplicate it. Just give me 2 seconds. It's a table. Okay, so it looks like I should table. And then let's see, table. Okay, so I am also realizing this is a glitch here. Another way to maybe go around that is just, you could duplicate that and then and then rename it. But the key thing here is this checklist would help you just keep staying track of all the other things you have to include in the scholarship. Again, because scholarships are not just an application as well. So yeah, that wraps it up in terms of the planner and all my material for today. I'm going to take a pause and let me know if anyone has any questions. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you setting this up, BBPN, and everyone who attended.
Thank you so much, Tola. We appreciate your time as well. And thank you for sharing these insights with our community. So please, it's time for questions. If you have a question, you can unmute and ask your question. If you're also not comfortable with speaking, you can as well put your question in the chat box. It will be picked up from there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Christabel Golo. First of all, thank you so much for this presentation. It was really insightful. I'm currently 16 and I'm in high school. I'm in grade 11. And I just had a question concerning references. So when I want to obtain a reference from a teacher concerning my application, um, I had a question. Does the teacher and what they're in charge of, um, like, is that something that I should factor into my reference? Like, if, for example, if I'm doing something like it's a scholarship about leadership, I've led a lot of cultural diverse events at my school, and that's something I'm very involved in. So would I need to search specifically for a teacher who's seen that and worked with me in that realm, or do I need to like pick just a teacher in general? Like, because I was trying to filter out like what teachers I would need to ask for my reference.
No, great question. So when it comes to deciding what teacher to use for your reference for your scholarship application, you can go about it two ways. Number one, ask 2, 3 teachers, right? You don't have to pick just one. Ask 3 of them, get the references, and then you pick one based on whoever writes what you see is the strongest reference for you. So I've done this before in the past where I'm torn between picking 2 or 3 people. I will actually ask all 3 of them, see all of the reference letters, and then compare, of course, letting them know, and people are completely okay with that, because again, the key thing is making sure you as an applicant have the best chance. The second thing you can also do is the key thing, like you're mentioning, well done in being very involved in school and all the different things you're doing, is whoever can speak the most to that part of you is probably going to be the person who writes that the strongest. So it's not about the title of the teacher or the professor. It's about how well they know you and how well they would be able to communicate the impact you've done on grounds, if they've worked closely with you, and things like that. Does that answer that question well for you?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining. Any other questions? Great question here. Did anybody else have issues with the
There's a question in the chat.
Yeah.
I'll just read it.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, thank you once again for sharing these resources. I have a question. Where can I find the planning resources? Where can I find the planning website? Sorry, the planning website. I think you might have to share the QR code.
Just so that go to striveopp.com, and I'm very mindful of time. I also did make a TikTok recently on this, so I'll share my screen where you can access, like, we post scholarships daily on there, and information regarding accessing any of the material is already on social media. So if you want to just go ahead and follow Strive Up on TikTok and Instagram, that way you would be able to find the information. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop sharing that. I also do provide like one-on-one coaching for this. So if you want to book a meeting to chat more on this, I do 15 minutes for free, but after that there is a charge for the consultation. So yeah, just go on the social media. There are links to everything on there.
There's a message on the chat box that says from Naomi. It said, I tried using the code and it says the discount cannot be applied to the order. So I don't know if you have a response to that.
1 second, let me just double check with the settings here, and I would be able to check. Resume.
Okay, for anyone who is having a challenge with that, they can actually send an email to info@bbpn.ca, and we can get the necessary information across to them.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, send an email to info@bbpn.ca. Is on the chat platform as well.
Oh, okay, wait. Let me just edit that. Scheduled. Okay. Discount. Okay, any other questions before we go? None?
Somebody asked for resume template. Is it something that you would be able to share with us so that we can share with our community?
Let me see here. I'm just trying to fix it on Squarespace.
Nice. If it's something they could also access with a link, that would be great.
Okay, so this, I've created a new one. This is active for 7 days. So if you can just go ahead and use this. 1 second, everyone in meeting. There we go. Let me know if that's working now, please.
Okay, the code is on the chat platform, please. If you have any issues with it, you can get it from there.
Okay, perfect. It's working. Okay, thanks, Naomi. Thank you for confirming. Make sure you just copy and paste it before the meeting goes if you're going to be using it, just because I think, yeah, you won't see the chat. Yeah. Well, it's 7 days validity, yeah. So as long as you've ordered it, you'll get the PDF in your email, and you'll always have that PDF. But you have to use it in the next 7 days. But you always have access to it once you've downloaded it. Okay, perfect. But yeah, if you have any other questions, Instagram me, or send me a DM on Instagram, not Instagram me, oh my goodness. Or on TikTok as well. We're thinking about, creating more classes like this. So stay tuned for more. And again, thank you so much, BBPN, for having me, and all of you that stayed today to chat on this. I know there are a lot of different ways to spend your Friday night, and so kudos to you on investing in your future as well on this, because I know that it's gonna pay dividends. Trust me. Again, did not have any debt coming out of school, was able to land a job right away, and 4 years later in working in the tech sector. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Dolapo. We appreciate your giving us your time this evening. Please, let's just stay tuned for a few announcements. Let me welcome Olaiton, please.
Still muted. Thank you very much, Dolapo Fadari. Thank you, our parents. Thank you and the attendees, the youth, parents, friends, and community members. I want to say thank you for this opportunity. Bear in mind that this is the first of the series. Our goal is to continue to have this every month, all things being equal, because the goal is to have the next generation to be able to fund the education and access as many opportunities that some people like us and some other immigrant community, even the local community, have not been able to do so. And I would also want to recommend again to buttress Dolapo's points on references. I would recommend that you have a pool at least minimum 5, because oftentimes some of your people that you don't have access to directly might not be able to see that request for reference. And when it's getting too late, they might not be able to give you what you really need that solidifies your information. I would also want us to include another scholarship that comes through the BBPA every year. That is also another opportunity. I've got some couple of templates. BBPN will be releasing that to all parents based on demand. Being one of the jury at that scholarship about a year and 2 ago, gave me opportunity to see some first-hand information that our youth can take advantage of. I would like to let you know that for this month, the Black community of New Brunswick will be having, we're participating at the Black Restaurant Week. We have 2 Black vendors that would be showcasing their food at a discount. One is based in Fredericton, the other one is based in Botouche. If you have family or friends around there, please visit them and let's shop and buy local. The goal is to support our community as much as we can. And also we are looking to connect with community members that are interested in volunteering towards one of our legacy projects that is happening next year. Feel free to reach out to Ibiyemi Nezu at sd@bbpn.ca. We are a volunteer-led organization. We take it one day at a time, making use of the scarce resources to continue to bring values to our community. None of us is being paid for what we do here. What drives our progress and what we do is passion. And I want to say thank you to Dolakbo from Strive Opp for also buying into this and giving us this opportunity to come through. And over the coming week, anything that we're looking to get for our community member, we'll still be coming back to you to see if we can get subsidized rates, because we know you are for profit and you can't run on water. But however it is, we'll check with our community. Anything they want, we'll be able to propose and then, come up with a deal and see how BBPN can support. And lastly, I would like us to find a way also to continue to volunteer the youth, please, because those are the critical things that most applicants actually get as the advantage over the other fellow applicants. So we thank you all for all that you do. And we also want to let you know that at the last award ceremony, all the award recipients should be getting their awards flags in the mail or to be delivered to them. So stay tuned. Those awards will be coming your way. And feel free to reach out to events@bbpn.ca, info@bbpn.ca, Sochi, Ovunda, myself, Ibiyemi, and every other volunteers would be available to reach out to you. Our timing may not be the same timing because we have to do our full-time jobs first before we reach out to you. But however it is, we would always reach out. Thank you everyone for coming tonight, for having movie nights with a huge return on your investment with us. And God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dolakbo.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. All have a good
Thank
night.
you. Good night. Thank you.